for the love. There it goes. Number 350. Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want. For the love of the shit. Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want. For the love of the shit. Hip hop and rap, yeah, that's where my heart's at.
Play by Gerson, true fun. Give him 6.
Doing it for the love. Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want. For the love of the shit. Doing it for the love, so now I'm doing what I want. For the love of the shit. Hip hop and rap, yeah, that's where my heart.
What's up, everybody? Good morning. Tony Jigsaw Cutillo here, as always, same time. Well, a little different time. A little late start today, that's all. Fantasy Firebox here, Win Daily Sports. Again, as always, give us a follow at Win Daily Sports on all social formats. Myself at Cutillo23. Listen, man, last night, baseball came back with a vengeance, right? Came back with a fire after the All-Star break. And it is so nice to see. It was great to see all those runs from Washington, from the Dodgers, you name it. It was fantastic. So got a little late start this morning. As you see, I'm wearing some glasses today. It sucks. I can't wear contacts for like another month. So had some issues with my eyes. So what I will say to everybody out there who wears contact lenses, make sure you take them out when you're supposed to so you don't get issues like I have over the last couple days. But we're here to talk some baseball and some football already. Yo, Joe, what's up, buddy? Joe checking in. As always, hopefully you've been proficient in your lineups. I know I've been trying. Last night threw together a couple lineups, cast in a little bit, but, nothing crazy. So many different things going on because you just don't know what that first day is going to be back from the All-Star break, right? It's like a mini vacation. Is everybody going to play or they're not going to play, right? There were some weather issues, even though the Toronto game did get through. Robbie Ray had an awesome game. You see Vlad hits another home run. Before then, we weren't sure. Was it going to be weather? Was it going to be some rain out there in Buffalo? So we weren't really sure what was going to happen. But if you stayed away from that game, it hurt you a little bit. What I did was I put in multiple lineups. So I made sure that I had one lineup just with the Blue Jays in there and Robbie Ray, and then I shifted and I pivoted, like my man Tulak says, and I had another lineup that didn't have that game in the card. So all depends on what you want to do. So today, what I want to do is let's break down just the 7 o'clock slate, right? Just the 7 o'clock slate, because I want this time to breathe, okay? I want it time to breathe. And one thing I love about this show is we've had so much interaction, whether it be through Discord. I'm getting on Discord. I'm on my man Brian. I'll check in later. I'll get there, right? I'll get there. Just so much going on, right? But I love Twitter. I love mixing it up. I know Joe, me, and you, we can get each other in the DMs, which is all good. They're always open. I love it. We have some little camaraderie, see who's going to be playing, who's not going to be playing. So let's keep that going. And again, big night, right? Big night last week. Me, Nikki, DFS Ghost, Drumheller, at X_Drumheller. Big new show. Plus action, plus money action, right? Plus money action. We did our debut episode on the Sharp app, for Game 4, and it was great, man. It was wonderful. So keep an eye out for that as well. But as always, before we start, just remember, hit the subscribe button. It's the best way that you can get to all of us. Okay, hit that subscribe button. This week was great. Just a recap. I was back. You guys know. I have a sports network, Heat Ratio Sports Network. We have a tremendous amount of shows from all different content. It's not betting content. This was different. I do the betting stuff, obviously. Do the fancy stuff, obviously. But I like to talk local stuff as well. So Heat Ratio Live went off Tuesday, which was great. Had a really good week. Plus money action the following night, which was great. And now we're back here with the Fantasy Firebox. So let's get right into the Major League Baseball slate again, starting at 7. I'm only going for the games that start at 7 o'clock, only because I want to give it time to breathe, right? I want to give it time to breathe. So, and I want to talk some tight end, little tight end talk at the end of this because tomorrow's going to be football day, right? So Sundays is going to be for NFL fantasy. I'm switching that up, strictly NFL fantasy tomorrow. So today, get to the baseball a little bit, and then we'll breathe into a little tight end talk because there's a guy I specifically want to talk about who I talked about this week on The Gambler. I want to talk about him again because I think he deserves to be drafted a little higher than I think people are doing right now. It's all good. So let's get right into baseball. Now, the slate for, like I said, 10 games. I'm looking at specifically the 10-game slate from 7 o'clock on. Nothing else. The few games beforehand, not even looking at them. I'm only going from 7:05 on. Couple weather, couple chances for rain, right? You have some chances for rain in the Mets and the Pittsburgh game, San Diego, Washington. Listen, out on the East Coast, it's been so goddamn hot that the pop-up drenching thunderstorms are going to be everywhere. So I could see some delays. Maybe they get it off and the rain's late. Who knows? It's going to be a crapshoot. So right now, I'm going to act as if we don't have any issues on these late games, okay? I'm going to act like we don't have any issues whatsoever. So let's get right into it. Let's get right into the pitching matchups, right? I always give you guys some aces that I'm thinking about. And again, sometimes they're different from what, from the big perspective, right? The popular perspective, so to speak. But that's what I do. I like to do little different things here, right? So aces for me today, the two guys that are going to be in most of my lineups, obviously is Garrett Cole. Drops a 50 spot the last game out, right? He drops a 50 spot. Right? How many pitchers are giving you a 50 spot, right? So you got to look at Garrett Cole, okay? I know he's going up against Boston. I get it. One of the best lines in baseball. I understand. But remember, I always say there's sometimes you just got to hitch your wagon to the top arm in the game, right? Which obviously is Jacob deGrom. But next is Mr. Garrett Cole, in my opinion. So at home, Yankee Stadium, okay, I'm all in, banking off a 50-point performance. Now, I know he's not going to give you 50 again. Listen, I completely understand that. And he's not going to strike out 12 Red Sox, okay? But he's going to have a little revenge because the last time he faced the Red Sox, which is about a week and a half ago, he gave up 6 runs. He gave up 8 hits. Only pitched 5 innings. Got the loss. He still struck out 6. Didn't have his command the way you would expect. So I'm looking at him flipping the switch again tonight and say, you know what? I'm not letting them go out twice on me. I ain't going down like that against the Boston Red Sox. Number 2 is always a charm, especially when you face really good teams. He's going to figure that lineup out a little bit. Sure, he'll probably give up some runs, he'll give us some hits, but I could definitely see an 8 strikeout plus kind of night going about 6 to 7 innings, which obviously, and getting a win. So I think he is golden for 30 points tonight. I think he's destined for that 100%. I really like him tonight in that matchup. Again, I could be way off, but I'm going basically back to his last game against them. And usually your second time around against good teams is usually much better of an outcome. Then I'm going to go to the Mets lane. And I know my Win Daily Sports guys are going to like this. And maybe some of them don't because some of them might have a little more inside information than I do. But I'm going to go with Tyler Megill from the New York Mets, 8,000 against the Pittsburgh Pirates. So, yes, we understand. Listen, shout out Brian Reynolds doing your thing, right? But they are still the Pittsburgh Pirates. And this kid has come up, and he's been really good, right? He's been really good. He hasn't factored in any decisions yet, which is fine, okay? Which is fine. But he's showing you, listen, 3.5 innings pitched and 7 strikeouts. 5 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts. 5 innings pitched, 8 strikeouts, right? Come on, man. What else do you have to see? And the last time he faced the Pittsburgh Pirates, which was on July 10th, guess what? 7 strikeouts, right? So I'm all in. I'm all in on Tyler Megill tonight. I am. I think his stuff is electric. I do. And again, the only thing that's going to stop Tyler Megill tonight is going to be the rain. That's it, in my opinion. So I'm all in on the Mets, the Mets righty. I am. I like what he has. I like his mixture of pitches. I think his control has been spot on from a young kind of standpoint. And again, I'm looking at somebody who's going to give me more of like I want more of a better price point and better production for that price point, right? So 8,000 to me is right on that cusp. Right on that cusp. I would love to find a $7,000 guy, but I'm not too comfortable with the guys that are on the slate. So I'll go 8,000. It's still a good 1,500 less than one of your top pitchers. So that'll give us an opportunity if you're going to use Tyler Megill to be able to get some big bombers in your lineup, right? So again, I don't tell you to build these lineups. What I'm trying to say is pick and pluck from my guys. That's all. Because I can guarantee you that 90% of these guys are going to produce. Right, I would love 100, but let's face it. If I had 100, I'd be on MLB Network every single day, right? But 90% is good for me, and if I can get 90% and add to that every time, I'm good with it, and that's what I'm kind of looking at, right? That's what I'm kind of looking at. Now, the reason why I didn't factor last night, it was in the middle of the doubleheader, right? So we only pitched those 3 and 2 innings, but again, struck out 7. So you have to look at that. You have to look at the strikeouts again, because that's how you're going to rack up the points. So I'm specifically looking at Tyler Megill. I think he's going to have a really good game today against those Pittsburgh Pirates. Now, let's get into the core. Okay. And as you're going to see, I'm going to have 2 Dodgers in my core. The Coors field factor, right? It's the Coors field factor, not to mention the pitcher that they're facing as well, right? So many different factors. So last night, they go off. Again, I take 2 Dodgers last night. Actually, I took 3 last night. And I took Max Muncy, I took Mookie Betts, and I took Chris Taylor. Chris Taylor had an unbelievable game last night. Mookie Betts had an unbelievable game. Max Muncy just missed a home run, which would have gave us the 3-peat. But I'm riding that horse again tonight. Through my core. I really am. Max Muncy, he's going to get what he didn't get last night, which is definitely going to be a home run. Max Muncy going long tonight, lock it in. If it's a prop bet, whatever it is, lock it in. Max Muncy going long tonight against Kyle Freeland. I love this matchup for the Dodgers. That's why, again, I can't help it but to put them back in my core. Okay, I'm not going to go all 3, but I'm going Muncy and Betts. I think Betts, I told you all the time, Betts is the all-around cat, right? He's the all-around cat, whether it be home runs, singles, doubles, triple stolen bases. The guy does it all. Listen, all you got to do is his last 3 games, 17, 26, 35. The guy's been an absolute monster. Absolute monster. Multi-hit games. 3 for 5 last night. 3 for 4 the game before that. 2 for 3 the game before that with a walk. I mean, come on. 3 walks. Actually, the game before that was 3 for 4 with 3 walks. Okay, this kid is doing everything for the Los Angeles Dodgers. So, and in Coors Field against Kyle Freeland, you better believe he's going to be in my core tonight. So, yes, Max Muncy, Mookie Betts. Listen, 2 factors: Coors Field, Kyle Freeland. That's all you got to know, right? Simple, absolutely simple. So let's flip the switch, because again, if you notice tonight in my core, I only have 1 guy who's a home run guy. And that guy is Max Muncy. Now, I like the way this core is set up, because I do think Mookie Betts could go long today too. But I really think this is Muncy's day to go long. But I like all 4 of these guys that I have listed as a core are going to give you major positive point production. And I love that term. I branded it. Yeah, not that many people use it. I use it. I love it. All these cats right here, when you talk about Betts, Merrifield, and Anderson, they just get on base and they make stuff happen, whether it be stolen bases, whether it be walks, whether it be hits, whether it be doubles. They just make things happen, okay? So I like the Betts. Merrifield I had last night, which, again, solid 24 last night. I wasn't expecting a 24. But, again, I'm not expecting home runs. We don't know who's going to be pitching for Baltimore today. We have no idea, right? I know Lopez was on bereavement leave. I don't know if he comes back today or not, but we're not sure. Either way, if it's not, it's going to be a bullpen guy. This is going to be an onslaught from the Kansas City Royals. So I would look to Kansas City as maybe possibly one of my stacking options when we talk about offense. But Whit Merrifield, again, does it all. He's another guy. Last night goes 2 for 4 with the double, 3 RBIs. But one of the biggest things is 3 strikeouts in 6 games. The guy rarely strikes out, right? So I like it. That's why he's batting 280. It's a no-brainer, right? It's a no-brainer. He's a table setter for the Kansas City Royals. He's the guy. He's the spark plug. So I ended this core with 2 spark plugs, Whit Merrifield and Tim Anderson. Now, Tim Anderson, listen, he had a mild, I wouldn't say a mild slump, but a pretty good slump for a while, right? Tim Anderson was down there low in points. I mean, we're talking about that. I remember they were dropping Tim Anderson's number to like 4,000 at one point, right? So the good thing about that is it's time to pounce. But what I will say is he's starting to finally get that stroke back. Right now, he's got his average back up to 312. If you look at his last 5 games, 2021, 9-5-13. He start 3 doubles in the last 5 games. He is not going hitless in the last 5. Actually, he's not going hitless. Wow, listen, Tim Anderson hasn't gone hitless in his last 10 games. Okay, he hasn't gone hitless in his last 10 games. Again, positive point production. He's striking out a little too much for for me, but he'll get around that. Okay, he's still giving you positive point production even with 2 and 3 strikeouts because his 1 or 2 hits are extra base hits. He's getting on base scoring runs. He's stealing a base. Listen, he's all over the place. So Tim Anderson today, Urias pitching for the Houston Astros. Listen, he's not the same guy. I know. I get it. I know people look at him and say right away, oh, he's only at 3.61 ERA. Doesn't matter. He can get hit, right? He can get hit. And again, I'm not looking for power. He hasn't given up a home run in 7 games. I don't care. Tim Anderson, I'm looking for hits. And if you look at and you break down Urias, even his last 2 games, 11 hits in 2 games. 11 hits in 12 innings. That's almost 1 hit per inning that he's giving up. Okay, so I know Tim Anderson swinging a hot bat is going to at least get 1 or 2 hits today, which is going to put him on base, which is going to give you that double-digit production, which is going to be huge for your core. So you got 2 table setters, right, in this core, 2 table setters. Merrifield and Anderson are your 2 table setters. Then you got Mookie Betts, does it all, and then you got Muncy, who I'm telling you is going to hit a home run tonight, and he's going to cash it all in, okay? He's going to cash it all in. I love it. I love it. I'm hyped. Betts has been coming on strong, Joe. Unbelievable. Betts has been unreal. And I've always been a Mookie Betts guy, but yeah, Betts has been unbelievable. Really has. I really like his game. I do. He puts that. Listen, we talked about this earlier in the week. I see them talk about it nationally. Major League Baseball is in a good spot right now. They got a lot of young cats out there. A lot of young cats doing some really good things, man. They're going to be doing some good things for a long time as well. So it's really, really nice to see 100% that all these young bucks really stepping up and banging out their game. All right, so again, we got the core. Muncy, Betts, Merrifield, Anderson. I gave you guys an explanation. I think you guys understand where I'm coming from. Let's see what happens, but I really like it. Now, let's get to some value, guys. Okay? Let's get to some value, guys, because this is where, Tony Jigsaw Cutillo, I'm all about the value, guys. Jigsaw loves the value, guys, right? I do. I love banging these value guys. Now, I had Austin Riley last night. I've been on Austin Riley a few times. Austin Riley is a cleanup hitter for the Atlanta Braves, who now longer have Ronald Acuna Jr. So a lot more is going to fall on the shoulders of Austin Riley. Obviously, you still have Freddie Freeman. I get it. You got Ozzie Albies, but Austin Riley is the guy who's going to make this lineup tick. I'm telling you. And he is consistently under 5,000 on DraftKings. And I think that is highway robbery. I do. And I'll tell you that. Listen, all you need to do is go look at his previous 5 games. Look at his numbers. Look what he's been able to do, even without hitting a home run. Okay? He is a power hitter. Okay? He is a borderline power hitter who's batting 280. So he will give you a 0 here or there. We get that. You have to live or die with that. That's why you build that core and you put those table setters like a Merrifield and an Anderson that give you that positive point production. So when a guy like Austin Riley, who's banking on home runs, comes up short, guess what? You get picked up by your table setters. But Austin Riley, what's he do last time? He does hit a home run. It's a bet, gives you a 21. 0 before that, but it's 7, 19, 16. Okay, right now, he's the corner. He is the gel of that lineup. And the reason why is it's not Freddie Freeman. And I'll tell you why. Because Austin Riley needs to be the protection for Freddie Freeman. So if Austin Riley is not good, Freddie Freeman's not going to get pitches to hit. We looked at that in Philadelphia for so long with Ryan Howard, who was bat number 5. And so, after Jason Worth had that breakout year, nobody gave Ryan Howard any protection. So Ryan Howard could not get the numbers that he wanted because he couldn't get the pitches to hit. So Austin Riley is the most important part of that lineup now with Ronald Acuna out because he needs to protect Freddie Freeman. Okay? And as long as he stays hot, Freddie Freeman stays hot, the team stay hot, and he continues to score some points. So I think that's a big deal when we talk about Austin Riley. He's always been one of the guys that I've really looked to on my lineups because he is under 5,000. He does play the hot corner. And under the hot corner, you always want a big numbers guy, right? But that's okay. The hot corner is supposed to be a power corner. It's supposed to be. And if you can get a power corner guy for under 5,000 who's consistent like Austin Riley, I call that's value every single day. Okay? Every single day. All right? So then, again, 4,700, Austin Riley. And then we're going to go with Luis Urias. Okay? We're going to go with the man from the Milwaukee Brewers. Again, another third baseman. But again, I love his value at 3,900 today against Luis Castillo, who Castillo's a little wild. You never know what he's going to be throwing. He's good or he's bad. But again, positive point production under 4,000. I think Urias, he can really give you a gel in one of your lineups that's built around a solid core, a really good ace, and a good power bat. Because for under 4,000, you're talking about a guy who can give you 25 to 20 points, maybe in the teens, 15, 13. I mean, just look at what he's done. 25, okay, 3. 13, 0, 14. I mean, listen, he's hit or miss, but I like today's matchup because he's going in a ballpark where the ball flies out of at night in Great American Park in Cincinnati and going against Luis Castillo, who, in my opinion, okay, is not consistent. Okay, he's not consistent. So that's what we have to look at when we're looking at a lot of these matchups, right? You have to go down the list and say, okay, who is going to be that guy that can be hit? And for me tonight, in this matchup, it's going to be Castillo. It really is. So I think that's why when we look at this, we have to break it down. You look at your values, right? You look at your values, and then I'll tell you the way I do this. I'm going to be straight up. So I go through the list, right? I look at those under $4,000 guys, and I look at what position. Are they multi-position eligible? And then I just pluck them out. I don't even look at the pitching matchup. Just pluck them out. Then I go back and I look at their tendencies, right-handed pitching, left-handed pitching, right? I go back. I look at what their streaks have been over the past couple weeks. Then I go look at their point production. I look at their lineup. What's the lineup been doing? The guys that batting ahead and below them if they're not table setters, right? And then I go and say, okay, who is the pitcher that they're facing? And I looked at this one, and I look at Urias, and I look at him facing Luis Castillo. Okay, and again, we're just talking about giving up hits. I'm not looking for Urias to give me a home run. I'm looking at giving up hits. And again, you can be hit. I mean, you can get hits against Castillo. There's a reason why he's that close to a 5 ERA, right? Obviously he gives up runs, but he gives up hits as well. So I would look, especially in this ballpark, I think this is a good value to kind of hinge on right now. Now, hopefully, he gets the at-bats. I think he will. Again, I preface by saying we're doing this show 10 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday. These lineups have not locked by any means for 7 o'clock tonight, so we just don't know, okay? We just don't know. So we just got to keep an eye on that. That's all. We just got to keep an eye on that and see where they're going to lock. That's all. See when they lock, see if these guys are available, okay? And then Avisel Garcia, another Milwaukee guy. You see the trend here, right? You see the trend. I think there's a lot of value on this Milwaukee team. I do. I like tonight's matchup against Castillo. I do. I do. I really do. And again, these are value guys, right? Build your lineup right, and these won't matter in a negative way, but they'll matter hugely in a positive way. Avisel Garcia for the Milwaukee Brewers, again, 3,800 going up against Luis Castillo. He has been, again, positive point production, which means no zeros, consistently above where he should be, and his value is considerably dropping. Again, here's another guy who I look at. We're just talking about 5 days ago, was at 5,500 on DraftKings for 21 points. He gave you 5,500, got you 21. What did that do? That dropped him 200. He only gave you 5. So then they dropped him another 300. He gave you 12. Then they dropped him 500. He gave you 3. And now they kept him at 4,400, who then gives you 14. And then what do? They drop him 700. They dropped him 600 to 38 after he just gave you a 14. DraftKings, what are you doing? Maybe you know more than me. I don't know, but I think this is the way I like to pounce on value. So Avisel Garcia to me will be in one of my lines tonight. 3,800 against a guy who, listen, he doesn't always hit the black and gives up some hits, and he gets a good ballpark. I think this is a really, really good value tonight. For what's up, Adam? Coming in. What's up, Adam? As always, checking in, my guy, man. I appreciate you, man. 100%. Always bringing something to the table. Always bringing something to the table, man. Adam was one of our avid followers, man. He's a great guy. Great guy, man. Always giving me, whether it be memes he's following, whether it be stats, trends, he's all over, man. I love it. I absolutely love it. Then we're going to go another value in Jock Pederson, right? Jock Pederson for the Atlanta Braves. Listen, again, I look at this lineup. I look at the pitching. I look at the pitching matchup going up against Tampa Bay, going up against Fleming. Okay. And I say to myself, what could happen in this game, right? What could happen? And again, I understand that we're not, Josh Fleming isn't giving up a lot of home runs. I get that. It's fine, right? It is. It's really fine. But I'm looking at his last 3 games to where he pitched more than 5 innings. And out of those 3 games, he gave up 17 hits, 10 earned runs. Okay, so I think tonight is one of those matchups. I'm not looking at his overall numbers, 3.6, 3.26 ERA, 7.4, or 7-4 record. I'm not looking at any of that. None of that. None of that matters to me. He doesn't strike out a ton of guys, so I don't even look at that. What I'm looking at is when he's pitched 100 pitches or more. Okay, when he's pitched 100 pitches or more, he's only struck out an average of 3 guys, and he's given up an average of 8 hits and 5 runs. I think that's the kind of game we're going to see tonight in Atlanta from Josh Fleming. So because of that, I think Jock Pederson is a very good value for you at 3,800 to build one of your lineups around. Okay, I do. I think he is, and again, there's so many different things you have to look at, okay? So many. He's not a guy who's going to set the world on fire, right? But 3 out of his last 5 games have been in double-digit points. He's only 3,600. He's not going to kill you. And 3 out of those 5 games have been multi-hit games. We're not just talking about one and done, okay? No home runs. He's still been able to get you 16, 12, and 22. So for 3,600 against a guy like Fleming, who I told you, 8+ hits, 5+ runs when he goes over 100 innings and rarely strikes anybody out. And Jock Pederson's only struck out once in the past 5 anyway. So I like Jock Pederson as a good value play. Put him in those lineups, man. Put him in one of your lineups and get ready. I'm telling you, he's going to do something special tonight, okay, for that 3,600. Now, let's go into some sleepers. Okay, which everybody likes. Everybody likes the sleepers, right? And again, here's your value, guys. Okay, let's talk about big value for me. Big value for me is Ryan Mountcastle. Now, for some reason, my boy Mountie ain't getting no love. My boy Mountie's getting no love, and I don't get it. Okay, I don't understand it at all. I don't know why he's getting enough love. I don't. Listen, we have watched my boy Mountie, and I know maybe he's getting overlooked because of guys like Cedric Mullins, okay, Trey Mancini. I understand all that, but Ryan Mountcastle, I'm just going to call him Mountie, right? I like that nickname. I like Mountie, but Mountie's been really good, okay? He's got 14 home runs, almost 50 RBIs halfway point of the season, batting .250, which, again, he's a power hitter. And I get it. right? I get it. People are going to say, oh, you know, he's a power hitter. He's a power hitter. So you have to ride or die with the power, okay? You do. Yeah, but he is consistently under 4,000, and he always has that opportunity to break out. You know, he reminds me of Joey Gallo before Gallo became more consistent, right? Joey Gallo, I used to call him Joey Gallo Gaze because he was home run or nothing, right? But Joey Gallo caught some heat over the past 3 weeks, has been very consistent. Mounty is the same kind of guy who you have to pick your spots, kind of like Suarez from the Cincinnati Reds, right? The guy's going to bat 198, but give you 17 home runs. So if you pick the right spot and the right pitcher, the right ballpark, the right conditions, you're good to go, right? So again, Ryan Mounty, to me, Ryan Mountcastle just hasn't been getting enough love, in my opinion, because he comes from a very good sound lineup. Okay, very good sound lineup with a lot of bats around him. So he's going to get pitches to hit. Now, he's going up against Brady Singer today, Kansas City, who Brady Singer is not setting the world on fire here, okay? The guy can absolutely be hit, all right? He absolutely can be hit. Average when it comes to strikeouts, about 5 per game. But the thing is, he's given up at least 1 run in every start over the last 10. At least 1 run, and average is at least 4 hits per game. So this is a nice, good matchup to me for Mounty tonight. So I could see him, maybe he goes long tonight. I'm not sure, but I could see at least a solid 12 to 15 point night from Mounty in the heart of that Baltimore lineup against an average arm in Brady Singer. So I like Mounty. So tonight for me, Mounty is my super value guy. I like to call him. Look, and this is why I love Adam. Adam checking in, right? Look at Brandon Woodruff, right? Bragging out 129. Adam, 129 Ks, crazy, right? Joey Gallo and Vlad in my lineups, right? Listen, Joey Gallo has been unbelievable. I love him. Look at that. Jose Abreu, 15 home runs, 2.50 average. Prototypical power hitter, right, Adam? Prototypical power hitter. 15 home runs, batting under 250, right? The Adam Dunn effect. I think we all know that. The Adam Dunn effect, right? So check out Mounty. I think it's a big value for everybody. I really do. I think that's something that you can look at, trying to give you some good points. And I know everybody loves the FFVP, the fantasy Firebox value play. I'm going to go with Jackie Bradley Jr. And again, this is another guy who you're going to look at him and be like, what? Jackie Bradley Jr. What the hell has Jackie Bradley Jr. done? So, again, I'm going up against my boy Castillo, okay, from the Reds, or Castillo, whatever the hell you want to call him, okay? There's so many different names. I say my name 50 different times. I say other people's names 50 different times, right? But Jackie Bradley Jr. has those games, right? He has those games, and he's cheap. 2,400 today for Jackie Bradley Jr. Bat from the left, okay, against Luis Castillo from the Cincinnati Reds, who I already broke down why I like the stack against him a little bit. But last game comes out, multi-hit game gives you 15. The guy still steals bases, still walks, gives you multi-hit games, doesn't strike out a ton. I know he's only batting 171, but again, it's spots. It's the certain spots to get Jackie Bradley Jr. I wouldn't be paying $3,500 for Jackie Bradley Jr. But tonight, he's going to be my FFVP because he's 2,400. Again, 2,400. So if you put that solid core of Muncy, of Merrifield, of Betts and Anderson, and you get a Jackie Bradley Jr., give you a 0 at 2,400, it's not going to kill you. But if you get Jackie Bradley Jr., give you a 10 for 2,400, I guarantee you that's going to be the difference. That's going to be your low ownership value guy that gives you your positive point production. That's going to take you right to the top of your DFS contest. So check out my man, Jackie Bradley Jr. with that FFVP today. I love the FFVP today. I do, 100%. So let's go last before we switch up. Let's go sleeper catcher. Sleeper catcher is my man from the Baltimore Orioles, Mr. Pedro Severino. Okay, again, I love this pick. I love this pick. Going up against my man, Mr. Singer, out there in Kansas City. I just gave you the Mounty reference. We're going to go Severino. Again, it is Saturday, so make sure he's in the lineup. But for $2,300, the catching position, if you can give me 2 home runs in the past 5 games, 2 double-digit point totals in the past 5 going up against a very susceptible pitcher. Last night he went 3 for 4. Okay? My man Pedro is on fire. I guess you could say. I was just going to say on a hot streak, but it was only 1 game. So I'll just say fire coming on for last night. But now listen, catchers are a dime a dozen, man. Unless we always talk about this. Unless you're going to pay up for guys, like Contreras or Smith or, even to like who we got. Let's just look, because I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't even look at catchers that much. I don't. I try to pick out the best guy for the cheapest price, right? Obviously Salvador Perez in that game, he's gonna be your top guy. You want to get a guy like Gabby Sanchez, maybe. Mike Zunino's a nice guy. Max Stassi, we've had some luck with him, but they're 4,000, 4,500, 5,000. I'm not paying that for a catcher. Not when I could throw a guy in like a Pedro Severino in there, or again, a guy like Tucker Barnhart, from Cincinnati. You throw that name, a guy like Barnes, right, who may play from time to time for the Dodgers, right, depending on who they rest. Okay, guys like Vasquez from Boston, right? All these guys are under 3,000. Tom Murphy from Seattle's always been a nice play for me. Okay, so it all depends on who you want to start, right? It all depends on who you want to start. For me, I just like those low value guys. I do. I just like them. I'm not going to pay up for a catcher. Just not going to do it. So Pedro Severino to me tonight, I really like that call. I like him against Brady Singer. I like the matchup. I think Baltimore can score some runs tonight. So again, I really like it. Adam checking it says Mitch Haniger from the Seattle Mariners, 21 home runs. Oh yeah, absolutely. Haniger's been very, very good. Very, very good. Right. And again, he brings up, Mr. Walker Buehler, 9.1 ERA, 114 Ks, 2.36 ERA. I mean, the guy's been unbelievable. Walker Buehler has been unbelievable. So let's recap real fast. And then we're going to get out of here on some football talk, because I want to talk about Kyle Pitts. So again, we're going to go 100% core right here with Muncy, Betts, Merrifield, and Anderson. Okay, I told you about your value, right? Check out your value guys in Austin Riley, Luis Urias, Adesel Garcia, and Jock Pederson. They're guys to me that could be really good value plays for you. My big value play today is Mr. Ryan Mountcastle for the Baltimore, I'm going to say Ravens, Baltimore Orioles. Check him out. My FFVP at 2,400, Jackie Bradley Jr. I think he's a guy, again, that you can really get into your lineups, low ownership, very low price, give you a decent power play today. My aces are going to be Garrett Cole and Tyler Megill. I really like Megill today at 8,000. I think he gives you a really solid day against those lowly Pittsburgh Pirates. Sleeper today, I would say for a catcher position is going to be Pedro Severino. As long as he catches and starts, he had a big night last night, 3 for 4. I'm going to ride that hot streak against a guy like Brady Singer, who I think can be hit a lot. Okay, and then again, my stacks, I'm looking at the Dodgers and the Mets. That's who I'm stacking. Okay, I like the Dodgers, and a sneaky stack will be the Milwaukee Brewers against Luis Castillo out there in Great American Ballpark, out there where balls fly. So again, as long as weather holds up, as long as these guys are in those lineups, check them out. I don't think you will be disappointed at all. So now let's swing again. Let's swing over. And again, I like to talk, again, fantasy football. Okay, I do. I want to talk a little fantasy football because tomorrow is going to be fantasy football day. And the rankings are all over the place for so many different players, and it's been great. It has. It's been absolutely fantastic, because I love to see the difference of opinions, whether it be podcasters, whether it be legitimate national analysts, whether it be just a fan. Right? Doesn't matter. Everybody's opinion counts. And I love watching them all and seeing where they dove deep into this analytic tree, and they've given you their 100% on point analysis on where they feel players are going to go. And the one guy I want to talk about, who I have to admit I wasn't extremely high on in the beginning, who I am very high on right now, and that is Kyle Pitts. And the reason why I'm very high on Kyle Pitts is because I looked at the entire situation going out there in Atlanta. And what I do, just so you guys know, and I highly recommend it, okay, if you guys are on social media, go follow the social media accounts for specific players that you're looking at, because they tend to post some training and workout regimens, quick hits to see who they're working with. They give you updates themselves, really makes your job easier. Dive into the beat writers for each specific team. Okay, and that's what I did. Okay, that's what I did. I dove into both of those. I dove into Kyle Pitts on Instagram. Okay, I dove into the beat writers for the Atlanta Falcons, and I've asked around to some guys in radio that I have a good connection with and said, "Yo, man, what are you thinking about? What are you thinking about when it comes to Kyle Pitts?" And now I do that a lot, and the early implications are that he's going to be very good. And I want to say one thing. I'm not a huge comparison player-to-player guy, but I do like to compare years and situations. I do. And I think Kyle Pitts, number one, there's no more Julio Jones. We understand that. And Julio Jones, last year, before everybody gets all crazy, last year, Julio Jones only had 57 targets, okay, because he was injured half the year. So with those 57 targets, I have to look at I have to look at who's going to get the bulk of them, right? The bulk of them is going to go to Calvin Ridley. But who's going to get the leftover? I'm not sold on Russell Gage. I'm not sold that he's going to be that guy. Maybe Zacchaeus comes in and, and he really becomes a sleeper like McCole Hardman, right? Who knows? Or like a Jalen Guyton out in San Diego. I'm not sure. Mike Davis comes in the running back position. He's going to get a lot of looks out of the backfield. I think we already know that, right? Which is fine. But Kyle Pitts is going to be that prototypical hybrid tight end, like a Darren Waller, like a Travis Kelce, like a George Kittle. You're going to be able to line him up outside. He's going to line up all over the field, right? He's just not going to be a blocker, right? He's just not going to be a blocker. That's why they still kept Hayden Hurst, who Hayden Hurst will be your blocker now. Okay, he was their best blocker from tight end last year. Okay, he was your best blocker, and last year Hayden Hurst had 87 targets. Okay, he had 87 targets. I want you to think about that. Their number one tight end was Hayden Hurst, and he had 87 targets. He had 56 catches, 571 yards. Okay, this is what you need to look at when you start breaking these positions down. So what I'm looking at is two things. I'm looking at Matt Ryan, who's averaged 604 attempts over the last 3 years. I'm looking at 87 targets to your number one tight end last year. I'm looking at 57 targets going away in Julio Jones. Okay, and I'm looking at a big year from Kyle Pitts. And I want to go back and I want to look at Jeremy Shockey from 2002. Jeremy Shockey has had the second best season from a yard standpoint from a tight end ever in the NFL as a rookie. Okay? He had 74 catches that year. 74 catches for the New York Giants. 894 yards, average 61 yards per game. Had 100, ready for this number? Had 127 targets as a rookie. I'm telling you right now, I am not ashamed to say that Kyle Pitts is going to shatter that single season rookie record, okay, of Jeremy Shockey. Now, he's not going to, I'm not predicting him. Number one is Mike Ditka. I'm not predicting him to shatter Mike Ditka's season, rookie season record from a tight end standpoint. But I think he's going to shatter Jeremy Shockey's numbers of 74, 127 targets, 74 catches, and 874 yards. Or 894 yards. I think it's a no-brainer, 100%. I think that this is a year where Kyle Pitts puts himself right under Mike Ditka. And I'll tell you why. If you look at what Jeremy Shockey did that year for the Giants, he was their guy. He was your only guy who was able to get open early often. I know Eli Manning loved the tight end, loved the short passes, so a lot of that had to do with that offensive scheme. But if you want to talk offensive scheme, I just told you, 603, 604 average attempts from Matt Ryan. He's going to throw the ball all over the field. Matt Ryan always loved the tight end. He loved his man, Algie Crumpler, right? So he's going to love this prototypical hybrid like a Darren Waller, being able to go all over the field. All over the field. He's a big guy. He is. He's a freak of nature when it comes to the tight end position. So if you look at Jeremy Shockey, he only took 100. He had 127 targets and only turned that into 74 catches. That means he missed about 50 throws. Okay, I don't see that happening with Kyle Pitts. I can see Kyle Pitts damn well getting over 100 targets. Okay, I think him and Calvin Ridley will both get over 100 targets. If Hayden Hurst got you 87 targets last year from the tight end position, you mean to tell me that we can't go plus 13 with Kyle Pitts? We absolutely can. So Kyle Pitts is going to give you plus 13 to what Hayden Hurst gave you last year. Kyle Pitts absolutely has to be your number 4 ranked tight end, in my opinion. 100%. And he could push for that second or third spot. I think you still can't take Travis Kelce off because Travis Kelce is an absolute monster. And he plays for the best offensive team in the NFL. Okay, so you can't, the way they utilize him, it's second to none. Andy Reid loves the guy. He's going to continue to push and push and push. No more Sammy Watkins out there. I know everybody's talking about the breakout year for McCall Hardman. I like McCall Hardman, but you can't discount what Travis Kelce does for that team, right? You just can't do it. So I like that part about it. I like Travis Kelce, obviously at number 1. And then, Darren Waller was unbelievable, but you just never know, right? You just never know week to week, but I mean, year to year. But, with John Gruden out there, he definitely is going to zone in on Darren Waller. He likes to put him all over the place. Darren Waller consistently stays healthy on the field. George Kittle has an injury history, right? That could be the one thing that's a detriment to George Kittle being number 3. And then I'm looking at, like I said, that I'm looking at Kyle Pitts. And Kyle Pitts could absolutely challenge for that number 3 or that number 2 spot. Adam checking in says, a lot of people are going to pick Kyle Pitts on their teams. He will be highly owned. Absolutely right. Absolutely right. He is going to be a guy that's been targeted. So again, depending what kind of your league you're in, because not every league starts tight ends. Like I'm in multiple leagues, as you could guess, right? And one of my leagues, you don't have to start a tight end. You're allowed to if you want. You treat them as a flex, as a receiver, because in PPR they're all worth your money and worth your attention. So Kyle Pitts, I think, will definitely be on a lot of rosters, 100%. He'll be on, and I mean by that early. He's going to be on rosters. He will not be in a waiver pool, right? He will be drafted. I just mean he'll be on those early rosters where you're talking maybe like, your first top 5. Top 5 tight ends taken off the board. Now you just have to play, you have to play a chess match, and you have to figure out where those guys are going to go. What's too high for a guy like Kyle Pitts, right? What's too high for him? So that's what you have to look at. But again, I'm going to compare it to the Jeremy Shockey year of 2002, the second highest point total from a yards perspective from a rookie tight end. That goes at Jeremy Shockey in 2002. I think, again, Kyle Pitts will shatter that record this year. But again, this has been a fantastic show. As always, went 48 minutes. Everybody checking in. I know it's Saturday. It's the summer. Not everybody's here. That's why you can watch this on replay. That's why it's tremendous. Listen, you guys have up until tonight to get those lineups in. Let's make sure that we look at these guys that I've mentioned, look at these early risers, look at these value guys, and just make sure they're in the lineup. Look at the sleeper catcher like a Pedro Severino, make sure he's in the lineup. But I'm telling you, I really like this mix of players that we have tonight. I think it'll be good. And again, Kyle Pitts, look at him in your drafts. Some guys are drafting already, right? There are people drafting already, obviously, doing mock drafts, doing best ball drafts. So Kyle Pitts, I'm telling you, he's going to turn some heads this year in fantasy football. Now, tomorrow, all football day. Fantasy right here on the Fantasy Firebox. 9 a.m., 9:15, 9:30, depending on it's a Sunday. We'll see what I get up. But again, man, Adam, my man, great show. Thanks. Adam, I'm always hustling and grinding, man. I'm all over. Can't help myself, man. From a PR perspective, from a sports perspective, I just love it. It's just a really, really fun environment. So as always, Adam, you tuning in and giving your comments and giving your analytics and throwing your stats up there mean the world, man. They really do. I love every minute of it. And as always, like I say, everybody get your lineups in, check your players, have fun with your families, Follow at Win Daily Sports on all social platforms. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that notification button. Follow me. You see at Cutillo23 for anything you want to hop in my DMs. It's all good. Talking fantasy perspectives online, checking the lineups out. That's a great thing too as well from a local perspective at Heat Ratio Sports. Heat Ratio Live, again, will be Tuesday night. We had a fun time with Mark Farzetta last Tuesday. Wednesday night, plus money action. Plus money action with me, Nikki, and Mark on the Sharp app. Check that out. Make sure you go check out at the Sharp app. Okay, follow that as well. Tons of great betting perspective content there. And as always, every day, Fox Sports The Gambler at Fox PHL Gambler. You can catch all my fantasy work every single day at around 3:50, where I give you a nice vignette, talk about a specific player, a specific stack, or a specific analytic that I think is very important. But as always, everybody, stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you tomorrow.